What's the matter with you?
I'm gonna cry.
What's the matter with you?
Because the winds, we got a Storm Gareth here.
Storm Gareth? Who's Storm Gareth?
You've
Was he a pop artist?
You've just told
A
me we're
rapper?
having 85 mile per hour winds tonight.
I have not said that at all.
Met Office did.
No, 74 mile an hour winds. It's not 85.
Oh, 74. That's okay then.
Well, it'll be fine.
This fan is rocking like anything. And
It's just
I'm really,
shaking a little bit.
I'm really scared. I want to move.
We can't move. I can't drive in it.
Oh,
And what's the chances of finding somewhere better anyway? We'll just have to put up with it. You're not gonna cry. Go make. I thought you were making some meatballs
Yeah,
and
that
chips.
stupid thing's taking forever and all. So I've got Dan to check out on the internet if a motorhome can actually flip over, and you're saying it can't.
It will not blow over. The chances of a motorhome blowing over in the wind whilst it's stationary and level are very, very, very low, because all the weight is at the bottom. As long as it's level, you're fine. However, if you're driving it, that's a different story. There is a good chance it could go over. But it's like someone's saying it. This is a good, someone's done the research. There's a lot of vans and lorries the same size and weight as a motorhome. And how many of them do you see blown over? Very, very, very few. You only ever see caravans blown over, not motorhomes. You've got to remember we've got a heavy motor in this. A caravan's a very light thing.
It sure feels like it.
I wouldn't like to be in a
Can you
caravan
hear the
now,
wind?
I'll say that, that's different. I would
Yeah.
not want to be in a caravan tonight.
It sure feels like it's gonna go over.
It's not. Relax.
Can you hear that, guys? Oh my god, everything's rocking! You're rocking like you're on a boat.
Another beautiful morning here on the Isle of Skye.
I can't even open the door properly. Good morning. So it's Tuesday morning and we're stuck in the van, aren't we, babe?
We are.
Yes.
Would you like me to update them?
Yes, yes.
Okay. We got here yesterday
Can you hold it? My arm ain't long enough.
after not having any internet for the last 3 days or something. Didn't really know what the weather forecast was. As soon as I got back online yesterday, I realised it was going to be heavy rain last night. But I didn't check the wind speeds. And we got to this parking spot, which is where I'd planned for us to stay anyway. And then I checked the wind, and I thought I was reading it wrong. It was saying 72 mile an hour gusts and about 60 mile an hour winds. I thought that can't be right. It was right.
It was so scary last night in this van. It was like a first storm, but
But
I thought that was the worst of it. It's not, is it?
no, that wasn't the worst. In fact, well, the main problem is it's belting the side of the van rather than the front, so it makes the van rock even more.
I keep thinking it's going to tip over.
Yeah, grabbing my arm.
Yeah, I'm like, ah!
But one thing Mazzy did is she fell asleep and she missed the worst of the
Thank
storm last night. It were bad. It were really bad. But today it's got like a calm spell. I say calm, it's still 40 mile an hour winds out there. But it's supposed to get up to, I think it's 73 mile an hour winds with gusts of up to 92 mile an hour. Which I don't think I've ever been in
By
wind.
1 o'clock this afternoon.
I don't think I've ever been in wind that strong before in my life, let alone in a motorhome sideways to the wind. So we're a bit worried.
And it's too dangerous to drive in it, so we're stuck here today and we're stuck here tomorrow because it's high winds again tomorrow.
It's not going to get below 50 mile an hour winds for at least today and tomorrow, so we'll just have to wait and see. So
we're in a lay-by and this car's just pulled up and 2 fellas have gotten out with the intentions of they're looking like they're going walking or something, don't they, babe?
Well, you said fishing.
Well, I'm not sure because there's a lake down there, but they've got like a tripod or something.
Right, we zoomed in as far as we can, so this picture's going to be a bit shaky and grainy, but these 2 guys, has anyone got any idea what they're doing? They're just like stood there. They've been looking around for something. They seem to have found what they're looking for. They've got a tripod. I'm pretty sure they're taking pictures. That would be my guess. But what could they possibly be looking for and taking pictures of? Someone please tell us if you have any ideas. Here, just below the Scottish mountains.
Are you enjoying your roast dinner, darling? Kind of roast dinner.
This is stunning. Thank you so much for feeding me so well, looking after me, loving me, and being my girlfriend. You are the best person in the world ever.
So we're trying to eat our roast dinner in this horrific storm. It doesn't seem to be affecting Dan, but I am so scared.
So today we've woke up to the best rainbow ever. Well, the closest rainbow ever. It looks like it's about 40 yards away. That is really nice.
Good morning, everybody. Say good morning.
Good morning, everybody. It's lovely to have you with us yet again.
And how did the storm go?
Last night it did get some very serious gusts about 11 o'clock, but not as bad as the night before. The night before was worse. But yeah, we survived. We're on our way. It's still going to be very windy today, but we're getting cabin fever. We need to move on and we need to go to a bridge. So it's early morning. First stop, Sligachan Bridge, I think it is. I'm quite excited about this one. It's very cold. It's
cold.
First thing in the morning and Mazzy's got to get wet. I don't have to. It's all about trying to get eternal beauty, isn't it?
Yeah, you recommended I do this one.
I did recommend you do this. I'd like you to keep your beauty forever and ever and ever. You know, I don't want to be with you in 50 years and you look like a really old, crinkly lady. I'd rather you stay looking like that forever. So, there's a story I've got to tell you first. So the story is, there was a woman, a really big, hard woman. She was like the hardest woman in the world. Rock hard. She had big, like, anchor tattoos on her arms, walked around like that. No one messed with this woman. She was rock hard. But there was one person who wanted to mess with her. It was an Irishman.
Okay.
He was supposed to be like the hardest man in the world. And he wanted a fight with her, which I find's really strange. In them days, they didn't, it were all about equality. They didn't care if you were a man or a woman. He'd heard that there were a woman who reckoned she were harder than him, who lived here. So he came over from Ireland, and he says, where's this woman then, this big, hard woman? I want to fight with her. And someone says, well, I'll go get her for you. She'll kick your head in. So they ran up to her house, says, here, there's this man here who wants to fight with you. He's massive. He's absolutely massive, but I reckon you could have him. So she comes down here and she sees him, and he's big. He's big, he's like a giant. He looks a bit like a cross between Sylvester Stallone and the Incredible Hulk, but twice as tall. He's really big. I don't know the names, sorry, I'm just going to have to say the woman and the man. I can't remember the names. So the Irishman goes up to the Scottish woman and says, I want to fight with you. You think you're big and hard, don't you? And she says, well, I am big and hard. Come on, if you think you're hard enough, come and have a go. So they start fighting. Proper big fight. All around here, they're jumping up and down, leaping over this stream, and all the mountains behind are rocking. It sounds like thunder. It's a proper massive fight. It goes on for weeks. Weeks they're fighting for. So the big hard lady, she had, it is cold, isn't it? Yeah. She had a daughter, a really fit, sexy daughter. She were about 21, 22. Beautiful she was. And she didn't like her mum fighting. She was scared she was going to get hurt and stuff. So the really fit, sexy daughter comes down here to this bridge. And she starts crying. And her tears are going into the water here. And she says, oh, I don't want my mum to get hurt. I'm scared. I wish they'd stop fighting. And this fairy comes. She were from under the bridge somewhere, because this is like a portal to fairyland.
Cool.
Yeah, and the fairy jumps out and she says, oh, don't cry, what's wrong with you? You fit, sexy 21, 22-year-old girl.
She says, well, my mum's fighting with that big giant from over in Ireland, and I think she's going to get beaten up, and I'm scared. I don't want them to fight. I want them to stop. So the fairy says, right, I'll tell you how you can make them stop. What you've got to do is you've got to go collect some of these leaves, some of these berries, some beef, a pot noodle, a sausage, and an egg, and put it all into like a big broth, and then tell them that you've got food ready for them. So she does this, does the lovely, sexy 21, 22-year-old fit girl. She goes home and she makes this big broth, and she goes up to her mum and the big giant and says, Mum and big horrible man, I've made you some broth. Come on, just cut it out now. Come and have some broth. So the big giant and the big woman, they say, all right, what do you think? She says, well, we have been fighting for weeks now. It's getting a bit tiring. Why don't we just take a break and have some broth? So they go to the woman's house. The girl, the sexy 21, 22-year-old girl, fit girl, she serves them both a big pile of broth. And they have this broth. And the woman, the big hard woman, says to the hard man, she says, well, we can't fight now because there's a tradition around here. If you eat off someone else's table, you've got to respect them for that and, be appreciative. You can't be fighting with them. And he says, oh, well, does that mean we can't fight anymore? She says, well, I guess it does. I guess it does. So the fight ends and they live happily ever after. That's the end of the fight. So it were a draw, basically. Can't believe he was that big as Incredible Hulk times 2, and looked a bit like Sylvester Stallone, and he couldn't even beat up a woman. A bit soft, if you ask me. But there's a tradition, something which goes along with this, Mazzy. This is where it gets interesting.
We're watching them over here, a load of people.
Yeah, there's a busload of people come to do exactly what Mazzy's about to do. I'm not going to do it because I don't need eternal youth, and I have done this before at the wrong bridge.
Yes.
I did it when I was here with me Julie and me Martin, and they took me to the wrong bridge, and I got very wet and very cold for no reason whatsoever. So the story behind it, Mazzy,
Yes,
is
I wonder
because
where this is going.
because there was a 21, 22-year-old really fit, sexy girl.
Yes.
Her tears going into the water apparently made it like magical.
Okay.
And anybody now who dips the head fully in to the water gets eternal youth.
Okay.
Eternal youth. As long as you don't dry your face with a towel, you've just got to let it dry naturally. So are you up for this?
No, I'm freezing.
I'll help you. I'll record you. You know, I'm not going to do it myself. I don't need eternal youth, but come on. You go for it, love. I'll film you. That's it, Mazzy. You get yourself down there, love. If we're lucky, we might get a fall as well, because there's a few like rocks and stuff.
I'm not up for this.
I'll keep the camera running. What do you mean you're not up for it?
Because I'm freezing. I haven't even warmed up yet today. This is silly. Who come up with this silly?
Well, no one came up with it. It's a true story. It happened many years ago.
Got everyone watching me.
People watching you, yeah.
I feel like I've got to do it now.
You've got to do it. I don't know how you're going to get your head under, really. Okay, I've got 2 cameras on go now to get 2 nice shots. Go on, get your head under. You've got to get your head right under. This is brilliant. It's brilliant when someone else does it and I don't. What's the matter with you?
You better be filming.
I'm definitely filming, don't worry about that.
10 seconds, is it?
Well, I think it's about 40 seconds what they normally do it for. Well, if you might have to put your legs up on that rock. I reckon you're going to fall, are you? That won't help you. I won't. You on, lass. Just get it over with. Just get it over with. Brilliant. What a woman. What a woman. Absolutely fantastic. Do you feel any prettier?
Do I look prettier?
You look the same, really, to be honest with you. Give it another shot. It might not, I don't think you did it properly.
just took my breath away.
No, actually, the closer you're getting, the more beautiful you're looking. Yeah, it might have worked, love.
Did it work?
I can't really tell. You don't look like a 21, 22-year-old beautiful, sexy girl. You do look 39. But you're looking alright, and I'm very proud of you for doing that. Well done.
Thank you. Let's go, I'm freezing.
Okay. I really enjoyed that one, did you?
Yeah.